We have a real man now. My wife and stepdaughter laughed over the dinner I'd spent 4 hours making. They were talking about her lover. I just nodded and cleared the plates. 3 days later, they came home to an empty house, and $127,000 vanished from the college fund I'd built for 18 years. But who I gave it to? That's what made them call me 46 times that first night. They never stopped calling. I never answered. My name is Kenneth Wade. I'm 46 years old, manufacturing supervisor at Apex Industrial in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've been married to Brenda for 18 years and raised her daughter Brittany since she was 2. Her real father, Raymond Cruz, disappeared into a bottle before she could walk. I became dad. I knew about Lance Hartman for 7 months. Corporate sales manager. Too much hair gel. Drove a leased BMW. I'd seen the texts, the hotel charges, the way Brenda started coming home smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. But I didn't confront her. I just started preparing. That Tuesday, I set 3 plates in our dining room. Made pot roast with red wine reduction, garlic mashed potatoes, roasted Brussels sprouts. The works. Brenda walked in with her yoga mat, barely glancing at the food. Brittany came down on her phone, 20 years old and in her junior year at Indiana State. I've been saving for her college since she was 12. Had $127,000 in that fund. We sat. I served the plates. Then Brenda started. Lance closed another major contract today, she said, cutting into her pot roast. 6 figures. I nodded, chewing slowly. He's taking the team to that new steakhouse Friday, she continued. The one with the private wine cellar. Brittany looked up from her phone, grinning. That place is amazing. Lance took us there last month. Remember, Mom? Us. They weren't even hiding it anymore. Lance says I should apply for an internship at his company. Brittany added. He put in a good word. I set down my fork. You already have an internship lined up. She shrugged. That's just filing papers, Dad. Lance's company does real work. Brenda leaned back with her wine glass. Lance really knows how to treat people right. Takes initiative. Doesn't just clock in and clock out. Some of us have real jobs, I said evenly. She laughed. Sharp. Kenneth, you stand on a factory floor telling people to push buttons. Lance builds things. Brittany snickered. Brenda leaned forward, eyes bright with wine. We have a real man now. Brittany burst out laughing. Full-throated, head-back laughter. I didn't flip the table. Didn't raise my voice. I just nodded. Good to know. I stood up, picked up their plates, and walked them to the kitchen. Scraped the pot, roast into the garbage disposal. Behind me, they were still giggling. I dried my hands on the dish towel, looked out at the yard I'd built, the deck I'd stained every summer. That was the moment I stopped pretending I didn't know everything. I walked upstairs and opened the closet in the guest room, pulled out the folder I'd been building for 7 months. Bank statements, legal documents, account transfers. Tomorrow, everything would change. But tonight, I let them laugh. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. Old habit from 20 years of early shifts. Brenda was still asleep, turned away from me like she'd been doing for months. I got dressed in the dark, grabbed my thermos, and headed to the kitchen. The house was quiet. I made coffee and sat at the table where they'd laughed at me 12 hours ago. Pulled out my phone and opened the Notes app. I'd been keeping a detailed list. Every step planned out, like a production schedule. First call went to Dave Mitchell, my old Army buddy, who ran a small moving company out of Elkhart. He answered on the second ring. Kenny, it's 4:45 in the morning, Dave said, voice rough with sleep. Need a truck Saturday morning, I said. Early. 6 a.m. He was quiet for a second. This about Brenda? Yeah. I'll be there, he said. No questions asked. That's what 20 years of friendship gets you. Second call went to my attorney, Patricia Vance. Left her a voicemail asking her to prepare the final documents. She'd been handling everything quietly for 3 months. Post-nuptial agreement from 2008 that Brenda signed without reading. Clause 14 gave me full authority over any premarital assets. The house. My retirement. The education fund I'd started before we even met. At work that day, I moved through my shift on autopilot. My team knew something was off. Jimmy Kowalski, one of my floor leads, pulled me aside during lunch. Boss, you good? Jimmy asked. You've been quiet all week. I looked at him. Jimmy had 3 daughters. Worked doubles to pay for their Catholic school. How old are your girls now? I asked. 15, 13, and 9, he said, showing me his phone wallpaper. 3 smiling kids. They appreciate what you do for them. Jimmy nodded. Every day. Why? I shook my head, just wondering. That afternoon, I logged into the bank portal for my office computer. The education account sat there. $127,344.87. 18 years of overtime, holiday shifts, skipped vacations. Every dollar earned in grease and sweat. I'd opened it when Brittany was 2 years old. Told the account manager I was building something for a girl who didn't share my blood, but had all my heart. I pulled up the transfer form, typed in the recipient information I'd gotten 3 weeks ago from a man I'd never met face to face. Raymond Cruz, Brittany's biological father. Raymond had gotten sober 8 years ago. Worked as a veterans counselor now in Santa Fe. Had another daughter, Isabella, 18 years old. Full scholarship to University of New Mexico, studying political science. Honor roll every semester. I'd found Raymond through Facebook 6 months ago. Sent him a message. We talked on the phone twice. He didn't ask for money. Didn't ask for anything. Just wanted to know if Brittany was okay. She's lost, I'd told him. And I can't help her anymore. He'd understood. Told me about Isabella. About how he'd rebuild his life one day at a time. About how his daughter reminded him why he got sober. She's everything I'm not, Raymond had said. Everything I should have been. That's when I knew. I didn't hit the transfer button yet. Not until Saturday. But everything was ready. At 6:15 p.m., I got home. Brenda's car was gone. Probably at the gym. Or with Lance. Didn't matter anymore. I went to the garage and started pulling down boxes. Old tools. My grandfather's woodworking set. Framed certificates from work. The Bronze Star for my time in the service. Everything that was mine. Brittany came home around 7. Bags from the mall in both hands. You're organizing? She asked, barely glancing at me. Spring cleaning, I said. She shrugged and went upstairs. I heard her door close. Heard her FaceTime notification go off. Probably Lance, probably Brenda, probably both. Saturday morning came cold and gray. I woke up at 5 a.m., dressed in the dark, and walked downstairs with a single duffel bag. Everything I needed fit in one bag. Funny how 18 years of marriage comes down to that. Dave's truck pulled up at 5:58 a.m. He stepped out with his nephew, Jake. 2 guys, no logos, no company name on the truck. Just quiet professionals. Kenny, Dave said, shaking my hand. We doing this? Every last thing that's mine, I said. We work fast. My toolbox from the garage. The workbench I'd built. My grandfather's antique drill press. Framed certificates from the wall. My fishing gear. The gun safe. Books. Clothes. Everything I brought into this marriage or earned with my own hands. Dave pointed at the wedding album on the shelf. That. Leave it, I said. Let them remember what fake looks like. By 7:30 a.m., we were done. The living room looked like someone had surgically removed half the furniture. My recliner gone. The bookshelf I'd built gone. The coffee table I'd refinished gone. But Brenda's decorative pillows and her yoga mat and her wine rack all stayed. I walked upstairs one last time. Went to the bedroom. Opened my closet. Took 3 things. My father's watch. The Bronze Star for my deployment. The small wooden box Brittany made me in 4th grade. She'd carved World's Best Dad into the lid. I held that box for a long minute. Then I put it in my jacket pocket. Back downstairs, I did one final sweep. Checked the kitchen, living room, dining room. Then I went to my home office and sat at the computer. Logged into the bank. Pulled up the education fund. $127,344.87. I typed in the recipient information. Raymond Cruz. Account routing number I'd memorized. Beneficiary. Isabella Cruz Education Trust. My finger hovered over the confirm button. Thought about all those nights working doubles. All those birthdays I missed. All those times Brittany called me dad like she meant it. Then I thought about Tuesday night. We have a real man now. I clicked confirm. Transaction processed. Funds transferred. $127,344.87 to Isabella Cruz. A girl I'd never met. A girl who wrote thank you notes and earned scholarships, and never once asked her father for money she didn't earn. I logged out. Opened the utilities portal. Scheduled shutoffs. Gas, electric, water. Effective 5 p.m. today. Canceled the Netflix account. Spotify. Amazon Prime. Every subscription tied to my credit card. Then I opened my email and drafted one message. To Brenda Wade. Subject, gone. Body, when you get home, don't panic. I'm fine. Just not yours anymore. Attached to the email, a PDF of our postnuptial agreement, highlighted sections showing everything I was legally entitled to take, and a copy of the education fund transfer receipt. I scheduled the email to send at 6 p.m. By 8:15 a.m., I was sitting in Dave's truck, watching my house disappear in the side mirror. Where to? Dave asked. Your cabin in Michigan, I said. The one on the lake. Dave nodded. It's yours as long as you need it. We drove north in silence. I didn't look back. At 6 p.m., Brenda would get that email. At 6:30 p.m., they'd walk into an empty house. At 6:31 p.m., they'd start calling. But I'd already thrown my phone in a gas station trash can outside South Bend. I wasn't hiding. I was just done being found by people who never valued finding me in the first place. Brenda pushed the front door open at 6:47 p.m., arms loaded with shopping bags from that boutique downtown. Brittany followed, scrolling through her phone, laughing at something Lance had texted. God, my feet are killing me, Brenda said, stepping inside. Then she stopped. The living room was wrong. Empty spaces where furniture used to be. No coffee table. No bookshelf. Her heel clicked against bare hardwood, where Kenneth's recliner had sat for 12 years. What the hell? Brenda dropped her bags. Brittany looked up from her phone. Blinked. Did we get robbed? Robbers don't take recliners and leave the TV, Brenda said, her voice sharp. She walked through the house, Brittany trailing behind. The dining room. Chairs missing. Kenneth's office. Completely empty. Just a desk with disconnected cables. The garage. His tools gone, his workbench gone. Empty hooks where his fishing rods used to hang. Upstairs, Brenda threw open the bedroom closet. Her side, untouched. His side, bare hangers. Mom, Brittany said from the hallway. Her voice had changed. Smaller. His stuff is gone. All of it. Brenda pulled out her phone. Tried calling Kenneth. Straight to voicemail. Called again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. That son of a... She stopped herself. Looked at Brittany. Check your email. Check everything. Brittany opened her laptop on her bed. Mom, I've got an email. From Dad. Sent at 6. Brenda rushed over. Read over Brittany's shoulder. When you get home, don't panic. I'm fine. Just not yours anymore. Attached, 2 PDFs. Brenda opened the first one. Legal document. Postnuptial agreement from 2008. Clauses highlighted in yellow. Her signature at the bottom. What is this? Brittany asked. Brenda's hands were shaking. I signed this when we refinanced the house. He said it was standard paperwork. What does it mean? Brenda read the highlighted sections. Her face went white. It means everything in his name stays in his name. The house. He took himself off the deed. Retirement accounts. His. Everything. Brittany opened the second PDF. Bank statement. Education fund. Her college fund. Balance. $0. Transaction history. 1 transfer. $127,344.87. Recipient. Isabella Cruz Education Trust. Brittany stared at the screen. He gave my money to someone named Isabella Cruz. Brenda grabbed the laptop. Read it again. Cruz. That's Raymond's last name. Who's Raymond? Brenda's jaw tightened. Your biological father. Brittany stood up. The deadbeat who left. Dad gave my college fund to his kid. Brenda tried calling Kenneth again. Voicemail. Tried texting. Messages turned green. iMessage disabled. She called his work. Got the after-hours voicemail. She scrolled through her contacts. Hit dial on Kenneth's brother, Todd. Brenda. Todd answered. Where is he? Brenda demanded. Who? Kenneth. Your brother. He emptied the house and disappeared. Todd was quiet for a moment. Good for him. Good for Todd. He stole Brittany's college fund. He didn't steal anything, Todd said, his voice cold. That fund was in his name. He built it. He decided where it goes. And after the way you two treated him, I'd have done the same thing. What are you talking about? Tuesday night, Todd said. He told me what you said. We have a real man now. You laughed at him. Both of you. Brenda's stomach dropped. He's not coming back, Brenda. Todd continued. And I wouldn't tell you where he is even if I knew. You want a real man? You got one. A real man doesn't stay where he's not wanted. The line went dead. Brittany sat on her bed, staring at her laptop. At the name, Isabella Cruz. at the number $127,344.87. Mom, she whispered. What do we do? Brenda stood there, phone in hand, in a house that suddenly felt too big and too empty. She tried calling Kenneth one more time. Voicemail. He wasn't just gone. He'd erased himself, and they were left standing in the echo. Brenda didn't sleep that night. She sat in the dark living room with her phone, calling Kenneth's number every 20 minutes. Same message. No longer in service. By 3 a.m., she called 47 times. Brittany came downstairs around dawn, eyes red. Did you reach him? No, Brenda said. Her voice was hoarse. We need to find Raymond, Brittany said. If Dad gave him my money, he has to give it back. Brenda pulled out her laptop, started searching. Raymond Cruz, Santa Fe. Found him in 10 minutes. Veterans Counseling Center. Phone number listed right on the website. She dialed. A man answered on the second ring. Cruz, he said. Voice steady calm. This is Brenda Wade, she said. You need to return the money Kenneth sent you. Silence. Then, you must be Brittany's mother. That money is for my daughter's education. It doesn't belong to you. Raymond sighed. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to my daughter, Isabella. Kenneth made that choice. I didn't ask for it. I don't care what arrangement you had with my husband, Brenda snapped. That fund was for Brittany. Was it? Raymond asked. Or was it Kenneth's money that he saved for a girl who treated him like he wasn't good enough? Brenda froze. Excuse me. He told me about Tuesday, Raymond said quietly. About dinner. About what you both said. We have a real man now. Those were the words, right? Brenda's throat tightened. Brittany was listening, eyes wide. Kenneth spent 18 years raising a daughter who wasn't his, Raymond continued. Worked doubles, missed holidays, built that fund dollar by dollar. And you thanked him by laughing in his face. You don't know anything about our marriage, Brenda said. I know you had an affair, Raymond said. I know Brittany knew about it, and said nothing. I know Kenneth found out 7 months ago and stayed quiet. Started planning. That's what real men do, Brenda. They don't yell. They act. You're her father, Brenda said, voice shaking. Tell her to give the money back. I'm not her father, Raymond said. I'm the guy who abandoned her when she was 6 months old. Kenneth was her father. He earned that title. But you both made it clear he didn't measure up anymore. We didn't mean. Yes, you did, Raymond interrupted. And Isabella? She's never had anything handed to her. Works 2 jobs, maintains a 3.8 GPA, writes thank you notes to her professors. That money will change her life. Kenneth knew that. That's why he gave it to her. Brenda tried to speak. Couldn't. Don't call here again, Raymond said. Then he hung up. Brenda sat there, phone in hand. Brittany stared at her. He's not giving it back, Brenda whispered. Brittany's face twisted. Then we sue. We sue Dad. We sue Raymond. We sue that Isabella girl. That money is mine. It was in Kenneth's name, Brenda said quietly. The lawyer will say the same thing. It was his to give. So what do we do? Brittany shouted. I have 2 semesters left. I need that money. Brenda looked at her daughter. 20 years old. Entitled. Spoiled. Everything Kenneth had warned her about in arguments she'd ignored. You get a job, Brenda said finally. Or you take out loans. Like everyone else. Brittany's mouth fell open. You're kidding. No, Brenda said. I'm not. For the first time, Brittany looked scared. Actually scared. And Brenda realized Kenneth had known exactly what he was doing. He wasn't punishing them. He was teaching them. By Monday morning, word had spread. Small town. Manufacturing plant. Everyone knew everyone. Kenneth's co-workers knew he was gone before Brenda did. She went to Apex Industrial at 8 a.m., walked into the front office. The receptionist, Maria, looked up. I need to speak to Kenneth's supervisor, Brenda said. Maria's expression went cold. Mr. Wade resigned Friday afternoon. Effective immediately. He what? Resigned, Maria repeated. Gave 2 weeks' notice back in February. Trained his replacement. Left everything in order. Brenda's head spun. Where did he go? I don't know, Mrs. Wade. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. Brenda blinked. Excuse me. Maria leaned forward. We all know what you did. Kenneth's a good man. One of the best supervisors we ever had. The guys respected him. And you treated him like dirt. You don't know what you're talking about. My husband works Kenneth's shift, Maria said. He told me about the Tuesday before Kenneth left. About how Kenneth came in quiet. About how Jimmy asked him if his girls appreciated what he did for them. She paused. Kenneth just shook his head. Didn't say a word. But Jimmy knew. Brenda turned and walked out. That afternoon, she drove to Lance's office building. Corporate sales. Glass and steel. She hadn't been there in 3 weeks. Hadn't needed to sneak around anymore since Kenneth left. Lance's secretary looked up when she entered. Mrs. Wade, I need to see Lance. He's in a meeting. I'll wait. 20 minutes later, Lance emerged. Saw Brenda. His smile faltered. Brenda, hey, he said. What are you doing here? We need to talk. They went to his office. He closed the door. Is this about Kenneth? He's gone, Brenda said. Took everything. Gave Brittany's college fund away. The house is in my name, but the mortgage. Lance held up a hand. Whoa, Brenda. I told you be careful. I told you he might find out. He knew for 7 months, Brenda said. He was planning this the whole time. Lance rubbed his face. Okay. So what do you need? Brenda looked at him. Really looked at him. I need help. With the mortgage. With bills. With Brenda, Lance said slowly. I can't do that. What do you mean you can't? I mean, he hesitated. Look, what we have is fun, but I'm not looking for anything serious. You knew that. Brenda's blood went cold. Fun? Yeah, Lance said, avoiding her eyes. I mean, you're married. We're married. It was just. I left my husband for you, Brenda said. You left your husband because you wanted to, Lance corrected. I never asked you to do that. She stared at him. At this man she'd thrown away 18 years for. This man who'd smiled and flattered and made her feel young again. This man who'd never planned to stay. Get out, Lance said quietly. Please. Brenda stood. Walked to the door. Turned back. You're just like Kenneth said. All promises and steak dinners. Nothing real. Lance shrugged. At least I was honest about it. She left. Drove home in silence. Pulled into the driveway of a house she couldn't afford. A house without power. A house that echoed with everything she'd lost. Brittany was inside, on her laptop, crying. What now? Brenda asked. I checked my student account, Brittany said. Tuition's due in 2 weeks. $18,000. Financial aid won't cover it without the fund as collateral. They're saying I might have to take a semester off. Brenda sat down. For the first time in 20 years, she had nothing to say. Kenneth wasn't coming back. Lance was gone. The money was gone. The life she'd built on someone else's back had collapsed. And the worst part, she'd done it to herself. 3 weeks after Kenneth disappeared, Brenda sat at her kitchen table with a stack of overdue bills. Power reconnected, but barely. Water back on. Mortgage 1 month behind. She'd sold her jewelry, her designer purses, even the china set her mother gave her. Brittany was upstairs, supposedly job hunting. But Brenda knew better. She'd been watching her daughter differently these past weeks. Seeing things she'd ignored for years. That afternoon, an envelope arrived. No return address. Just Brenda's name in unfamiliar handwriting. Inside, a single sheet of paper. Printed document. Medical records. From 2006. Brenda's hand shook as she read it. Patient, Brenda Wade. Procedure, hysterectomy. Reason, uterine fibroids, severe bleeding. Result, complete removal of uterus. Patient cannot bear children. The date, March 2006. 2 years before she married Kenneth. For years after Brittany was born. Brenda's vision blurred. She read it again. Tried to make sense of it. Then she remembered. Her sister, Jennifer. Jennifer who died in 2008 from an overdose. Jennifer who had a daughter. A daughter born in 2005. Jennifer who begged Brenda to take her baby girl because she couldn't stay clean. Brittany. Brenda's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. You're wondering why I sent that? A man's voice said. Kenneth's voice. Kenneth, Brenda whispered. I found those records 8 months ago, Kenneth said. When I was looking through old files for the post-nup paperwork. You had them in a box in the basement. Mixed in with Jennifer's things. Brenda couldn't speak. Brittany isn't your biological daughter, Kenneth continued. She's your niece. Jennifer's daughter. You took her when she was 6 months old. Never told me. Never told Brittany. Just let everyone believe she was yours. I was protecting her, Brenda said. Jennifer was a mess. I gave Brittany a stable home. You gave her lies, Kenneth said. And Raymond Cruz? He's not her biological father either, is he? Brenda closed her eyes. No. Who is? I don't know, Brenda whispered. Jennifer didn't know. Some guy at a bar. Kenneth was silent for a long moment. So, I raised a daughter who had no blood connection to either of us. And you never thought I deserved to know the truth. I thought it didn't matter. You loved her anyway. I did, Kenneth said. But she needed to know where she came from. She needed to know that her mother died trying to get clean, that her mother asked you to save her. Maybe then she wouldn't have grown up so entitled. So cruel. Brenda's throat burned. Why are you telling me this now? Because Isabella Cruz is Raymond's real daughter, Kenneth said. From a relationship after he got sober. A daughter he earned the right to raise by becoming a better man. And that's where the money went. To a girl who came from genuine redemption. Not from lies. Kenneth, please, Brenda said. We need you. I need you. No, he said quietly. You need my paycheck. There's a difference. That's not true. I love you. You love what I provided, Kenneth corrected. There's a difference there too. He paused. Tell Brittany the truth. She deserves that much. Tell her about Jennifer. Tell her about where she really came from. Maybe it'll help her understand why I left. Kenneth, wait. The line went dead. Brenda sat there, staring at the medical records. At 19 years of lies written in clinical language. Upstairs, she heard Brittany's door open. Footsteps on the stairs. Mom, can you lend me $60 for her? Brittany stopped when she saw Brenda's face. What's wrong? Brenda looked at her daughter. Her niece. Jennifer's baby girl. Sit down, Brenda said. We need to talk about your real mother. The truth about Brittany spread through Fort Wayne faster than Brenda expected. Someone at the medical records office talked. Or maybe Kenneth told someone. Either way, by the end of the week, everyone knew. Brittany wasn't Brenda's biological daughter. She was Jennifer Wade's daughter. Jennifer, the sister who died from a drug overdose. Jennifer, who everyone remembered as the troubled one. Brenda saw it in people's faces at the grocery store. The whispers. The pointed looks. The way conversations stopped when she walked past. But it was worse for Brittany. She'd gone to a college party Thursday night. Came home crying at 2 a.m. What happened? Brenda asked. Everyone knows, Brittany sobbed. Someone posted it online. About Jennifer. About you lying. About Dad leaving because we were awful to him. She looked up, mascara running. They're calling me a fake. They're saying I got everything handed to me by a man who wasn't even related to me, and I thanked him by laughing in his face. Brenda wanted to comfort her, wanted to say it would blow over, but she couldn't, because it was true. Friday afternoon, Brittany came home from campus early, threw her backpack on the floor. I'm dropping out, she announced. What? I can't afford tuition. Can't get loans without a cosigner. Can't face people knowing what I did. Brittany's voice shook. Dad was right. I'm nothing without his money. Brenda wanted to argue. Wanted to say Brittany was strong, capable, smart. But the words wouldn't come. Because Kenneth had been right about that too. That weekend, Brenda ran into Kenneth's co-worker, Jimmy Kowalski, at the hardware store. He was with his 3 daughters, buying paint for their bedrooms. Mrs. Wade, Jimmy said, tone neutral. Jimmy, Brenda said. How are you? Good, he said shortly. Then to his girls, go pick out brushes. Once they were out of earshot, Jimmy turned to her. Kenneth was the best supervisor I ever had. Taught me everything about management. About being a man worth respecting. Brenda nodded, unsure what to say. My oldest starts college next year, Jimmy continued. Kenneth helped me set up an education fund for her. Told me to start early, even if it's just $50 a month. Said it adds up. Brenda felt her throat tighten. He told me something else too, Jimmy said. He said the biggest mistake a man can make is giving people things they don't appreciate. That love without respect is just servitude. Jimmy looked at her directly. You made him a servant in his own home, and you wonder why he left. I didn't mean to. Yes, you did, Jimmy said. You meant every bit of it. You just didn't think he'd ever do anything about it. He walked away, joined his daughters, left Brenda standing alone in the aisle. That night, Brenda checked her social media. A mistake. People from high school, from town, from Kenneth's work, everyone was talking. One post from Maria, the receptionist at Apex. Some women don't know what they have until it walks out the door. Kenneth Wade deserved better. Hope he found it. 47 likes. 23 comments. All agreeing. Another post from someone Brenda didn't even know. That guy worked 60-hour weeks for 18 years to raise a kid that wasn't his, and his wife laughed when her boyfriend called him less than a man. If that's not a real man, I don't know what is. 92 likes. Brenda closed her laptop, looked around her dark house. At the empty spaces where Kenneth's furniture used to be. At the bills she couldn't pay. At the daughter upstairs who just quit college. She'd wanted a real man. She'd said so at dinner that night. The cruelest part? She'd had one all along. She just hadn't known it until he proved it by walking away. 2 months after Kenneth left, Brenda received a letter. Handwritten. Postmarked from Santa Fe, New Mexico. She opened it carefully. Inside, a single page. Kenneth's handwriting. Brenda, there's someone you should meet. If you want to understand why I did what I did, come to the address below. Saturday, 2 p.m. Come alone. K. An address in Santa Fe. A coffee shop called Aurelia Cafe. Brenda stared at the letter for 3 days. Finally, Friday night, she made a decision. Booked a flight. Left early Saturday morning. The cafe was small, brick walls, local art hanging everywhere. She walked in at 1:55 p.m., saw Kenneth immediately. Sitting in the back corner. He looked different. Leaner. Calmer. Like weight had lifted off him. Next to him sat a young woman. 18, maybe 19. Dark hair pulled back. Simple clothes. A backpack with University of New Mexico patches on it. Kenneth stood when Brenda approached. Brenda, this is Isabella Cruz. The girl stood too. Offered her hand. Mrs. Wade. Brenda shook it. Sat down. Looked between them. Why am I here? Because you need to see what your money became, Kenneth said. Isabella pulled a folder from her backpack. Opened it. I'm a sophomore at UNM. Political science major. I want to be a civil rights attorney. She showed Brenda a transcript. All A's. 1B+. I worked 20 hours a week at the campus library. Before Mr. Wade's gift, I was working 40 and barely keeping up. Brenda looked at the grades. At the dean's list certificate. At the scholarship letters. I didn't ask for the money. Isabella continued. My dad called me 2 months ago. Told me what happened. Told me about you and Brittany. About what you said to Mr. Wade. She paused. I wanted to refuse it. Felt wrong taking something that wasn't meant for me. But I asked her not to, Kenneth said. Because this money represents something. It represents 18 years of work. Of sacrifice. And I wanted to go to someone who understood what sacrifice means. Isabella pulled out another paper. A handwritten letter. This is what I sent Mr. Wade after I found out. Brenda took it. Read it. Mr. Wade, I don't know how to thank you for what you've done. My whole life, I watched my dad fight to be better. To stay sober. To be worthy of a second chance. He taught me that nothing worth having comes easy. That respect is earned. Your gift means I can focus on becoming the attorney my community needs. I won't waste it. I promise. Isabella. Brenda's hand shook. She sent me updates every month, Kenneth said. Her grades. Her volunteer work. She's tutoring kids at the Boys and Girls Club. She's interning at a legal aid office. She's everything I hoped Brittany would be. Brenda looked at Isabella. At this girl who'd worked for everything. Who appreciated everything. Who'd never had anything handed to her. I'm sorry, Brenda whispered. I'm sorry for what we did. For what we said. Kenneth nodded. I know you are. But sorry doesn't change anything. It just means you finally understand what you lost. Isabella stood. I should go. I have a study group at 3. She looked at Brenda. Mrs. Wade, I hope Brittany figures things out. I really do. Nobody deserves to lose everything. She paused. But I'm grateful Mr. Wade chose to invest in someone who won't take it for granted. She left. Brenda watched her go. She's remarkable, Brenda said quietly. She is, Kenneth agreed. And you know the best part? She reminds me why I started that fund in the first place. Not for status. Not for obligation. But because I wanted to help someone build a future. He stood. I found that person. Just wasn't the one I expected. Are you happy? Brenda asked. Kenneth considered it. Getting there. Got a new job. New life. People who respect what I bring to the table. He looked at her. I'm not angry anymore. Just done. Will I ever see you again? Probably not, Kenneth said. But I don't hate you, Brenda. I just don't love you anymore. There's a difference. He walked out. Left Brenda, sitting alone in a coffee shop 1,000 miles from home, finally understanding what a real man looked like. He looked like someone who walked away with his dignity intact. 8 months later, Brenda sold a house. Couldn't afford it. Moved into a 2-bedroom apartment on the east side of Fort Wayne. Got a job as a receptionist at a dental office. 40 hours a week. $15 an hour. Barely enough. Brittany never went back to college. Worked at a retail store in Indianapolis. They talk once a week. Surface conversations. Neither mentioned Kenneth unless they had to. Lance had moved to Chicago. Blocked Brenda on everything. She'd heard through mutual friends he was engaged. To someone younger. Someone without baggage. One Saturday in November, Brenda got a message on Facebook. From Raymond Cruz. Thought you should see this. Attached, a photo. Kenneth and Raymond, standing together at some outdoor event. Both smiling. In the background, Isabella in a cap and gown. Holding a certificate. The caption. Isabella graduated summa cum laude. Full scholarship to Georgetown Law. Couldn't be prouder. Thanks to Kenneth Wade for making this possible. 300 likes. 70 comments. All congratulatory. Brenda stared at the photo. At Kenneth's face. He looked genuinely happy. Proud. Like a father watching his daughter succeed. She thought about Brittany. Working retail. Living paycheck to paycheck. Still blaming everyone but herself. Brenda closed her laptop. Looked around her small apartment. At the life she'd built from the ruins of her mistakes. She wanted a real man. Had thrown away 18 years because she thought she'd found one in Lance. A man with a nice car and smooth words and empty promises. Kenneth had been a real man all along. He'd just proven it in a way she never expected. Not by fighting. Not by yelling. Not by begging her to stay. But by walking away. By giving his love and his money to someone who'd earned it. By building a new life that didn't include people who'd made him feel small. That was strength. That was dignity. That was everything she'd been too blind to see. Brenda picked up her phone. Typed out a message to Kenneth's old number. Knew it wouldn't go through. Sent it anyway. I finally understand. You were enough. You were always enough. I just couldn't see it until you were gone. I hope you're happy. You deserve to be. Message failed to deliver. She set down her phone. Went to her window. Looked out at the parking lot. At her 10-year-old sedan. At the ordinary life she now lived. Kenneth was in New Mexico. Building pipelines or managing teams or whatever he did now. Living with people who valued him. Watching Isabella succeed. Creating a family built on respect instead of obligation. And Brenda was here. Alone. Working for minimum wage. Living with the consequences of treating a good man like he was disposable. She learned something, though. Learned it too late, but learned it nonetheless. Real men don't need to announce themselves. Don't need to perform or prove or compete. They just show up. Do the work. Love without conditions. Until you give them a reason to stop. Kenneth Wade had been a real man for 18 years. Brenda just hadn't recognized him until he stopped being hers.